welcome. It's another Tuesday, which means it's another live lesson from me and him here in the Digital DJ Tips studio. It's me, Phil Morse, and we've got a special one for you today because today he's going to help us as we talk about 12, count them, skills that will help you be a better DJ that are nothing to do with DJing. So if you are new to DJing, or you're returning to DJing, or you've always wanted to DJ, but you've never got around to it, and you're thinking, can I really do this? Is this really, am I kidding myself here? Well, this is for you because there's going to be some stuff here that I think you will take comfort from. Now, this isn't me just plucking these out of the air, or God forbid, asking ChatGPT. No, this is from this. What non-DJ skills can surprisingly help you in your DJing? This post has had nearly 1,000 responses on the Digital DJ Tips student forum over there on Facebook. So this is real stuff from real people. I've gone through these and extracted kind of the 12 ones that I think are most universal and are most going to help you. So this is the collected wisdom of all of our students here at Digital DJ Tips. By the way, if you want to become a student of Digital DJ Tips, the world's greatest DJ school, don't. At least not until you've waited for our Black Friday offers. It's our biggest sale of the year, and it'd be remiss of me not to point that out to you right now. If this gets you all wanting to get started, wait, because next week when our Black Friday sale, or whichever day it is, yes, next week, next Wednesday, I think, next Tuesday, you'd think I would know that, but hey, too busy teaching to know this stuff. Next Tuesday, the team are telling me you will be able to get all our courses at up to 45% off from all the big names across production and music courses that we make and sell. So everything from mixing to mobile DJing to, you know, the stuff that we do all year round will be at our lowest prices ever. So do hold on for that. However, let's get on to our 12 things then, as chosen by our students, as chosen by you. I can see you all piling in the chat here. We will have a chat at the end. So please do share in the comments yours. What do you think the non-DJ skill that's helped you the most in your DJing is? By the way, there were some great ones. You know, I went through nearly 1,000 comments, and the ones that are here are the ones that are genuinely going to help you. But there were some great ones, like the best thing I ever did was give up smoking and drinking because it gave me more money to spend on music. I really like that one, but I'm not going to include that one in the list. Right, here they are then. Right, this is the first one. Can you guess what it is? Of course, it's playing the drums. This was the biggest one because playing the drums gives you all that percussive knowledge, all that knowledge about beats and bars and measures and timing and counting and all that stuff, all that rhythm that's got to be built into you as a DJ. And so if you've played drums, even if you've learned to program drums, if you have played percussion, then this is really going to help you. So any drumming experience at all, if you've got that, trust me, you're going to get that counting, you're going to get that timing, you're going to get that muscle memory down quite quickly. And also, if you've played computer games that involve that, I can't remember the name of it, but there was a game my kids had where you had to kind of like do the stuff to a soundtrack, and how close you were to the beat was what counted. Even if you've played DJ Hero, frankly, anything that can get that counting and timing will help you when you get to DJing. So drums is definitely a good one. All right then, so the next one. Now this is no surprise, I'm sure. Being a dancer, being someone who has got no problems about hitting that thing first. So most DJ gigs, and if you're a mobile DJ, you will know this, you get three types of people, right? You get the people who can't help dancing, the people who are never going to dance, and the people who might dance. And as a mobile DJ, it's the ones in the middle that you want to be working on, because the people who are going to dance anyway, you don't need to do anything. The ones who are never going to dance, you can't do anything about them. It's the ones in the middle. They're the ones that make great mobile DJs. But guess what? If you're one of the people who is either can't keep yourself off the dance floor, or you know what it takes to get you on the dance floor, that's absolutely priceless. And that's why so many of our students in that post said being a dancer is something that is going to really help you with your DJing. And people think, you know, stepping from the decks to the decks from the dance floor is difficult. No, it's not. If you watch dancers, if you watch anyone who enjoys dancing, they know where the drops are, they know where the breakdowns are, they know where things come in and leave. You're just translating that to actually making that happen rather than dancing to it when you get behind the decks and when you start DJing. So look, if you've got a love of dancing, even if you're fascinated by other people dancing, of course, that's going to help you. So drums and dancing, right? Obvious. Now, Here's another one which you might think is related, well, it is related, but you might think it's the same, but it's not. So this one is being a clubber or a raver before you become a DJ. Now there was a really nice nuance here that I picked up on in the comments, in those 850 comments that our wonderful students left under that post, because this is about being involved. This is about being part of the scene that you want to step up and play the music for. Because you can't suddenly say, well, I'm a DJ now, and then send out a few DJ mixes and a few links and a bio and start wondering why people aren't emailing you back. Why on earth would they? Because there's going to be a whole bunch of people in their circle, and by them I mean managers, I mean promoters, I mean party planners, I mean people who book wedding DJs, I mean all the people who are potentially able to give you a job as a DJ. Do you not think they know people already who are quite likely to be better placed than you to do that job? And do you really think you spending 6 weeks or 6 months, even 6 years, getting good at DJing and making a mix and sticking it on SoundCloud or Mixcloud and sending a few emails out is going to turn their heads? Because let me give you some tough love and a reality check. It ain't. This is getting out there, getting to know people, being a part of the scene that you want to be involved in, getting to know how it works. These are all really important things. And this isn't just for residencies and for being a DJ artist or a club DJ. This is all kinds of DJing. You want to be a mobile DJ or a wedding DJ in your town, you better damn well get to know who all the other mobile and wedding DJs are. Where's the gaps? What are the things people aren't finding in the market in your town where you could step in and do this stuff? So look, getting out there, being part of the scene or the industry or the the venues and the places that you want to play at and you want to be booked for is absolutely hugely important. It's something so many people miss, especially in this online age. Because in this online age, people think, hey, you know what? I'm just going to do it all online when I get behind my computer. No, you've got to wear your shoes out. You've got to get that shoe leather on the streets if you want to really have a chance to get booked to play at the places you want to play at. So number 3 is being a clubber or a raver first, getting involved in your scene. All right then, so according to our wonderful students here at Digital DJ Tips, the 4th most useful non-DJing thing that is going to help you if you want to become a DJ is learning music production. If you've ever made music, if you know your way around Ableton or Cubase or Logic or FL Studio, if you have got some experience of how music is made, it's going to be hugely helpful to you. And the reason for that is that you will learn about what works, you will understand the structure of the tracks you want to play, you will just naturally know about the phrasing and the segments in the songs and where the intros and outros and drops and breakdowns and so on are. You'll know about overlapping layers, you'll know about musical key. All the stuff that this can teach you is going to be truly helpful in your DJing. You know, most of the people we teach here at Digital DJ Tips are grown folk who want to DJ, right? They've always wanted to do it and we're the people they come to for help. But one of the segments that is really interesting to us, and we get quite a few people like this, are people who are already music producers. And they have a confidence crisis about doing this. And we have to tell them, look, you're in a really good position here. And I've worked with, back in my days as a DJ promoter, I used to look at the names underneath the title on the record. Literally, I get the record and I'd look at the names in brackets and say, who made this piece of music that I love so much? And ring the number on the back of the record, literally ring the phone number and say, hey, I see so-and-so made your record. Can I book them to DJ? Obviously, I was playing electronic music. Quite often these people could DJ. And that's the way we booked people to play in our club. But quite often they couldn't. And quite often their first or second gig was in our tiny little club where they just turned up with some records and had a go. And some of those people went on to be really big DJs. But being a producer first really helped them. So this is really important. If you do make music, if you've already done it, it's going to really set you up well for a DJing hobby or career. Now, if you've just joined us and you're wondering what this dude's doing, we're talking through the 12, as voted for by the Digital DJ Tips students, the 12 non-DJing skills that will help you become a DJ or become a better DJ. We've already talked about playing the drums, dancing, being a clubber or raver, getting involved in your scene first, and now music production. So we're going to move on to some which might surprise you a little bit, but only for a second, because when you think about them, they're all going to help you. This one here, this dude here, working in his busy cafe, dealing with the public day in, day out. Customer service experience is a huge one, because guess what? DJing's a team game. DJing is about satisfying the people on your dance floor and satisfying the people who book you, so you get paid and you get asked to come back. And if you don't know that, if you've never worked behind a bar, if you've never worked in a cafe or a restaurant, if you haven't got this kind of experience, this kind of customer service experience somewhere along the line, well, it's not going to be quite so easy for you. Now, us DJs by nature are introverts, right? We got our noses in music and mixing and transitions and doing stuff on our own behind locked doors with headphones on when everyone else is out having fun. I know, don't worry, you don't have to hide. You don't have to hide it, I'm like you. But at the end of the day, we've got to do this as well. This is really, really useful. So if you have forced yourself in your life to work with the general public, to work with the great unwashed, then well done, because it's really going to help you as you step up to be a DJ. Because as I say, DJing is a team game. You don't learn to play football by throwing a ball around in your own backyard, and you don't learn to DJ by mixing stuff up in your bedroom or your home studio. You learn to do it in public, and therefore these customer communication sales skills are really helpful. In fact, that is the next one, communication and sales skills. And I'm going to concentrate on the word sales there, because just like this dude here, knows how to explain what he does, knows how to deliver the value of his product to the man in the orange outfit there. Look, if you can't sell yourself, if you can't say this is why you should book me for your wedding, for your bar mitzvah, for your birthday, for your club, for your bar, for your lounge, for your residency, for your festival, if you can't deliver what it is about you that makes you special, well, don't expect anyone else to. You've got to have that. So one of our courses here at Digital DJ Tips is called the Mobile DJ Blueprint, and it's a business course. It doesn't teach mixing. That's our mixing for mobile and wedding DJs course. You see what we did there in the titles? And the Mobile DJ Blueprint has got a big section on how to sell. Now, people think selling, ooh, but look, I'm selling to you now. You want to hear this stuff. You want to get better at this stuff. I've got what you need. I'm selling, and I'm telling you what you can do if you want more. I don't feel bad about saying we've made some fantastic courses if you want this stuff. He doesn't feel bad, hopefully, about selling what he's selling to Mr. Orange Dude, because he believes in it. It's good stuff. So look, learning to present the value that you've got is really important. And like I say, sales doesn't have to be in any way shady or anything. It's just something that can be taught, and we teach it in that business course for DJs. But look, if you've got any background in sales, trust me, it's going to help you, because when you open your mouth and try and convince someone to book you, you're going to do a better job of it than someone who doesn't have that. So lean on these skills. They're worth having. Just because they're not DJ skills, just because they're not involving the gear and the mixing, it doesn't mean they're not important. So the next one, this dude here. He's helping this lady here, isn't he? The reason he's helping her, if you can't kind of guess by the picture I've chosen, he's a psychologist. He's someone in a caring profession. He's someone who's having to listen. Psychology and people reading is a soft skill that so many of you, a surprising number of you, said can be really, really useful. That kind of intuition, that sixth sense. Because guess what that's related to? Like really, really closely. Reading a crowd. Having that sense about what people want. Having that sense about how you can make people's day better by stuff you do that other people just don't have. If you've always been an intuition person, if you've always spotted when something's wrong and been able to help people, if you've always basically been someone who's got that psychology stuff down and that people reading stuff down in any area of your life, and obviously a psychologist is a, or psychiatrist is a cheesy choice, but look, it doesn't have to be this kind of profession. Then you really have got something that can help you, trust me. Because a lot of people haven't. A lot of people walk around with their head in the clouds, haven't got a clue what other people are thinking about them or so on. I tend to find that the people who are most successful in business, and by business I include the business of DJing, are the ones who actually, for whatever reason, kind of care more than most about what other people think of them, what other people are thinking in general, where other people are at in their day. I'll give you a great example from DJing. DJs get very, very nervous when they play. They think everyone's looking at them, but they don't realise that most people in that venue, they've had a day and they've had a week of it as well. They might have had any number of things that they're trying to forget. They've come out for a night out. They want to just brush it off. They want to shake off the stress. They're not interested in you. They're interested in whether the person who they want to avoid because they split up with them last week is going to be in the venue as well. They're interested in how many of their friends are going to turn up. They're interested in whether they're going to enjoy themselves tonight because they've had a bad week and they don't know if they can, rise to the occasion. They're interested in whether it's going to be full at the cloakroom when they go and put their coat away, or whether there's going to be a queue at the bar, etc., etc., etc. If you can look at people and just get a sense of where they're at, then you're on that pathway towards controlling the night, and controlling the night is what DJs do, right? So look, psychology and people reading, these are important things. Now, the next one, the next non-DJ skill that will help you immeasurably in your DJing is such an easy one to learn, and so many people get it wrong. I've represented it by this clock. It's professionalism. It's turning up on time, sober, smart, on your own. It's being friendly and approachable and being personable and listening to people and adapting depending upon the situation that people ask you to adapt to. It's all those things that us grown folk have probably learned along the way. But guess what? That wonder kid who's 16, who can mix anything into anything and who can quick mix 58 tracks in 10 seconds, probably hasn't got these skills, and that's your advantage. I'm being a bit silly, but you know what I mean, right? Most managers in most venues do not care how good your mixing is. They assume you can do it. Most managers in most venues don't care what music you play. They probably don't even know the name of the music you play, like even the genres or anything. They just assume that you know what's right to play. What most managers in most venues want from you is no hassle. They want you to be early. They want you to be ready to just get on with it. And they want you to be someone who their clients, their people paying their wages, buying their drinks and food and so on, come up to them and say, I like that dude, doing a good job over there. He's a professional. She's a professional. And that's something that is nothing to do with DJing. But if you've had to be a professional, if you've had to do all the things that professionals do, and I don't mean suit and tie and, posh watch and all that stuff, but that's not what I mean by professional. I mean being that grown up in the room. There's a lot of DJs who aren't. There's an old joke, Mummy, when I grow up, I want to be a DJ. And Mum says, well, growing up or being a DJ, you're going to have to choose, son, daughter. And look, nowadays, us DJs have grown up, right? We've been doing it for 30, 40 years. DJing is not a young profession anymore. You walk past a music store and in the window, you're going to see bass guitars, drum kits. We've already talked about drumming. You're going to see keyboards. You're going to see a DJ controller. Why? Because DJing is done by every age range nowadays. And professionalism is something that if you can bring it, will give you an edge, whatever age you are. It's not a DJ skill, but it is an important one. Let me know. I've got all the comments here and I will get to you all. I can see we're, as I say, very busy. I'll get to you all at the end. What non-DJ skill has helped you in your DJing? And the reason I want you to share is that if there's any I've missed, we can cover them. And also for the people watching this who want to take up DJing, who maybe feel they're lacking in confidence, I'm trying to inspire people here to make you realize that yes, you can do it. And professionalism is one of them. Here's another one. Happily, a lot of us are like this. It's represented by this Apple laptop and the leads and cables and the scratching of the head of that person in the background. It's IT skills. If you know your way around a desktop or an operating system or a network, if you know how to install and build computers, if you know about RAM and ROM and hard drives and operating systems, I think I probably already said that. It shows my experiences. Well, it's usable, if not expert. Look, if you've got any experience of this stuff, if you're the person that in your family or in your friends, people are saying, I can't get it to work, can you help me? If you can install drivers, if you can check stuff, if you can get into the command line and fix things on computers, trust me, more and more nowadays, you are going to find yourself far more well equipped to be a DJ than ever. It was always that way. Back in the day when we had to build our own DJ gear because half the time it didn't exist, we had to concoct this, that, and the next thing to just make anything work. And then when we ended up playing in venues, and it's still the same today, you might get booked by someone who knows what they're doing, but then when you turn up on that Tuesday night to play at 6 p.m, well, no self-respecting manager or person with knowledge of the equipment is likely to be there at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday night because they're probably there only at weekends or they turn up at 9 o'clock when it's getting busy. So they're going to expect you to know what you're doing because that person behind the bar, that person who's been there for a few weeks and who's only getting paid a tenner an hour or something, probably doesn't know how to set up the PA system. So it's always been that way. Technology, the geeky side of DJing, what we call gear. So here at Digital DJ Tips, we teach DJing in 5 ways. Gear, the geeky stuff. Music, mixing, performing, and succeeding. There are 5 ways. Gear is always the first one, because if you can't get past the gear, if you can't get past setting it up and figuring it all out, gain staging, the right cables, the right leads, what's safe, what isn't safe, and all that, it's never been something that is gonna help you in your DJing if you're just completely, I haven't got a clue. But nowadays, with all the computers, there's a great thing this week where well, it's not a great thing, it's a horrible thing, it's a terrible thing. But a lot of DJs were turning up at gigs and plugging their USB drives into the gear, and their playlists were blank. Like pro DJs all over the world. It was due to an update to the gear that had happened in the background. A lot of them didn't realize it. A lot of them didn't know what was going on. And it was something that could be fixed, but guess what? Only the geeks managed to fix it in time to play their gigs. Other people struggled. So look, IT skills, if you've got technical skills, if you've got IT skills, they come across really well, as do organizational skills. This lot here are planning a party. They don't look like it, do they? But hey, maybe it's a party in old people's home or something. I don't know. Again, I'm being silly. I can't help myself. This lot here are planning a party. This lot here are organising something. They could be organising a school fete or anything. If you're an event planner, if you've organised a Christmas party at your works, if you've organised a conference, if you've done anything that involves getting other people to do what you need, trust me, it's going to help you in your DJing. Because again, you're going to be called on to do stuff that is nothing to do with DJing, but that can really help your DJing. My DJing began way back in the day by putting on my own parties, by organising someone on the door, by getting some tickets printed, by getting some drinks in and some snacks and sticking them in the kitchen with a little hatch going onto the hallway, and in the local cricket club, putting on parties. That's how I started DJing. And then that went on to DJing for all the schools in the area. That went on to promoting parties in town. And before I knew it, I was where I wanted to be. But it all came from organisational planning, being able to plan stuff and being able to juggle. Basically, I used to feel like I had several plates spinning at all times. And so if you can be the promoter, if you can be the DJ, if you can be organising the financial side of it and the logistics side of it and so on, and you've always done that stuff somewhere in your life, it's going to help you as a DJ in ways that you wouldn't imagine. Right, we've got 2 more. Done 10 already, but we've got 2 more things that are really going to help you, non-DJ skills that are going to help you be a DJ. So the first one is represented by one of my loves in life, and I'm not the only one in Digital DJ Tips. We've got 3 people for whom this is a happy place. This is a marathon. And look, guess what? A long night's DJing can feel like a marathon. It goes on for twice as long as a marathon if you're playing a really big DJ set and you're quite good at running marathons. Physical and mental stamina are great things. So look, if you are physically fit, if you you play sports, you love walking, or you love swimming, or you love cycling, or you love running, if you've got that stamina, if you can shift your gear around, if you can stand up all night without completely losing your head, or more importantly your back, then you are in a really good place, because DJing is hard work. DJing is not something that you do sat at home breathing deeply in your favorite chair. DJing is something that it takes it out of you. So if you've got that background, if you've got the stamina, trust me, you're going to feel good at hour 5 on a DJ set. And if you haven't, you're going to need to practice to get good at it. You don't have to worry about this if you're already someone who is strong, fit, who is active, who is not scared of that side of this game. So physical stamina is an important one. And now the final one, and I'm going to represent it with these heroes here. It is problem solving under pressure. So there were some great stories in there. So by the way, if you've just tuned in, and we're talking about 12 non-DJ skills that can help you be a better DJ. These are based on a Facebook community post where we asked our students and our subscribers to tell us what non-DJ skills they think are important. And we had like nearly 1,000 responses so far. They're still pouring in. This one came up a lot. Military experience, firefighting experience, the emergency services, any time where you have to think under pressure and make decisions that count. Obviously, DJing is not flying a plane or putting out a fire. DJing is just playing music. But guess what? When you're stood up there in front of 400 or 500 people, or 4,000 or 5,000 people, and you can't load your gear, load your music, we just talked about it, or your deck suddenly freezes, or the power goes off, or the bass bins stop working, or any of the 1,000 things that I can think of that have happened to me as a DJ, as Rudyard Kipling said, if you can hold your I think he said something along the lines of, you can keep your head while everyone else is losing theirs. Then that is a brilliant skill to have. So look, if you're coming to DJing and you've already done something high pressured, if you can think of times in your life where you've had to make decisions which, you know, were difficult, but you got it right, that is really going to help you. So let's do what I always like to do at this point and say, welcome back to the studio, people. Let's go through those then one more time, then we'll talk to you about yours. So the 12 things are playing drums or percussion, dancing, being involved in your scene, being a music producer, having customer service experience, having communication and sales skills, the ability to read people, psychology, professionalism, just straight professionalism, being an IT specialist or having technical skills, being a good organizer, being good physically, having stamina, physical stamina, and actually mental stamina coming to that, but also problem solving under pressure. All nothing to do with DJing. I mean, the closest you get are drums and music production, right? But even them, they're off to the side, but all really useful. If you're thinking of taking up DJing and you're worried that you haven't got what it takes, maybe you actually have. In fact, I would say if you were ticking a few of those or nodding your head to them, you almost definitely have got a lot of the skills that people who learn the DJ skills but don't have would actually not even know what it is they're missing. Well, you know now. Right, people, we are live, and that means I can chat to you in the chat here and find out exactly what it is you are thinking and talking about. However, having said that, oh, there you are. Found you. Whew. Shame. I thought we have no comments there. Right, let's go in there and dive straight in. So hello to all our regulars. Hello to Kesha and Don and Drex and Mike and Edmundo in Portugal and Mixmaster G. Happy Serato 4.0 day. Yes, we've got some content coming up on that this week at some point. Hi Don and DJ Belter in the freezing UK. Yeah, it's not that cold here. I'm not gonna make you feel bad. Hello to Cal Brown. All right then. So let's hear yours. What have I missed? So Cal Brown says, learning guitar in the past gave me the understanding of timing, definitely. Yeah, it also gives you the understanding of chords and structure as well. I'm a guitarist, I'm not a drummer, but I agree. My guitar training definitely helped me. Dre says, I never shy away from throwing a few shapes after a few frosty bevies. Lol. Thank you for that. DJ Belter, I came into DJing via Latin and ballroom dancing. You definitely learn about tempo and phrasing. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. Right, what else have we got then? So DJ Stephen B says, hey, great idea for a live stream. Well, thank you to our awesome audience. I've been an international DJ for 10 years and this has definitely got some great tips. So congratulations on a decade international DJing, not an easy thing to do. So Don says, learn an instrument, any instrument. Being a professional musician since 1992 and understanding rhythms, keys and phrasing has become second nature to me. So also get some coaching. Hey, that's what we're here for. So thank you for that, Don. Ashley's loving the content as well. Kesha says, I played piano as a child and as a teen, and I sang in a choir for about 4 years. So I learned a lot about tempo, pitch, and rhythm, singing in a choir. I love that. Don says it's a great point about psychology. Phil, thank you for that insight. Again, thanks to the crowd for that. Public speaking is another great tool. Hey, what a great one. It gets you used to getting on a stage. And I would add here, getting on a stage. If you've got theatre experience or getting on a stage to sing or you've been in a band, anything that puts you in front of other people. You see, people forget that DJing is just the same. DJing is just about getting up on stage, and some people get on stage and they feel they can be themselves. You know, they spend their whole lives acting, but as soon as they're on stage, I can just be me now. Some DJs are like that. Others kind of step into a persona. Look at Norman Cook, Fatboy Slim, right? Normal guy normally, but that tropical shirt goes on and up he goes on the stage and that nutter comes out. Some people step into a persona, but understanding that there's a difference between being there in front of your decks DJing and not being there, being back in normal life, is really important. So thank you for that, Don. So that, yeah, I'll definitely go for public speaking there, because public speaking is just as nerve-wracking as any other getting up on the stage. Ashley says mic work is probably one of the hardest skills to learn. That's a good one, being able to use the microphone. Again, public speaking helps with that, doesn't it? Thank you for that. DJ Belter, showing your age because you're there with me here, DJ Belter. Learning how to program a ZX Spectrum in the 1980s definitely gave me the confidence to take DJ gear in my stride nowadays. Yes, I learned to program when I was 10. I was that geeky kid that walked up to the computer in the shop in town and programmed it to put my name all over the screen, and the shop assistants were like, you know, 2 lines of basic, but hey, if you don't know, you don't know. So thank you for that. Resilient Drum and Bass says, I love and I needed this. Oh, awesome. Thank you for that over there on YouTube. Hi, YouTube crowd. Hello, Twitch people as well. I'm seeing your comments here. Ashley says, I'm loving this, but my kids have just got home. It's madness here. I will watch the rest later. You can indeed go and watch this from the beginning if you joined late. And as John says, go to the YouTube page and replay via the live tab whenever. Thank you for that. Helping out there, John. Right, what else have we got? Back in the 80s, I played 6 hours non-stop, says John. The downside was dragging 2 to 6 packed milk crates of music around. Hey, yes, we certainly needed more stamina back then in the vinyl days, didn't we? 1 or 2 more then. Kesha, as a psych major who's graduated, knowing the audience is key, especially through their facial and body expressions. Yeah, we were talking about psychology and people reading, weren't we? Thank you for that. Is there a green screen behind the green screen, says Anthony. Is that studio real? That's why I do it, so you can see the studio is real. Look, if it wasn't real, I wouldn't be able to pick up these wonderful books and show them to you. Yes, the studio is most definitely real. Thank you for that. All of these non-DJ skills, says Benji on YouTube, are great examples of using transferable skills. Being a DJ is to be a jack of many trades. Dealing calmly with drunk people, for instance, is a vital skill. Well, yes, of course, that comes from the general people skills that I was talking about in customer service experience, doesn't it? Thank you for that, Benji. Look, the idea of this is to let you know that you've probably got a lot more than you think you've got that'll help you become a DJ if you're thinking of taking this up. There's a lot of skills which do not involve larging it on the decks, which people think is all DJing's about. So this one is from DJ Stephen B, who says, here's a tip. Creativity outside of music. Photography, video editing, design, even writing. These can all help you do things like create promo materials that separate you from other DJs. Of course, I love that. And that's one we missed, being able to find your way around a video editor or do your own Instagram stuff or, I guess it's a generational thing, right? This is one where I guess the young folk definitely have an edge because my daughter has got more followers on TikTok than I've got here. So, the kids have got that one. But yes, definitely. Be yourself and DJ your set outside. Not in a club or your bedroom, but outside. They are 2 different worlds. Yes, Mac, it's true. We talked about that, didn't we? There's no point sticking in your bedroom. And that's why these skills are so important, because people are there when you DJ. DJing is a team game. And DJ Steven says, one more tip. Fitness and stamina. Yes, we've covered this, haven't we? Thank you for jumping in there. It is physically demanding to be a DJ. Long nights, traveling, carrying gear, keeping energy high. Better fitness equals better performance. I totally agree with you there. And Jack, for our final comment on Facebook, I agree with reading people. It's so important. I was not the best mixer, but I could read a room, which kept me having residencies in clubs for almost 20 years. Thank you very much, everyone. I've loved this. I've absolutely loved this. We'll write this up and stick it in an article on the website. And when we have done so, we will link underneath this video. If you're watching the video now and you want to see this list, look underneath. And if you see a link, hey, we've got round to it. But meanwhile, for me, Phil, here in the studio, as I said at the beginning, look, if you are thinking of taking up DJing, getting back to DJing after a break, improving your DJing, we'd love to teach you. We are the world's leading DJ school. But don't grab a course from Digital DJ Tips. Not now, not today. Because next week, the Black Friday sale starts. And the Black Friday sale is our biggest sale of the year, up to 45% off everything. It would be, again, remiss of me not to let you know about that. I don't want you to spend the money today where you could have got 2 courses for the same money next week, right? So hang on, hold fire. And if you're not on the mailing list, head to digitaldjtips.com and click the pink link in the top corner to get on the list. And we will email you with all the offers as soon as they drop. But meanwhile, for me, Phil, here in the studio, and it is a real studio, look, our Digital DJ Tips mug, that's real. Merch tab on the site, by the way, if you want to treat yourself to some Digital DJ Tips merch for your Christmas present or whatever. All this stuff is real, including the studio. But the pictures, I've got to say, weren't. They were green screen. From me, Phil, here in the real studio, get good, get out there, make the moments, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.